All right, all right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Midlife Mojo Monday here at the 2 p.m.-ish hour, as I always say. For those of you new to my page, every Monday I go live at 2 p.m. here, and I do some kind of education or demonstration. And I'm really excited because now I'm going to start adding some interviews 1 or 2 times a month. And I'm going to bring on a guest, somebody who I think will just complement everything I'm teaching and teach all of us something new that can support us on our whole midlife journey. So make sure that every Tuesday you kind of mark your calendar so that you get us, and you can always watch us on the replay. And I don't know if you saw, but in the, I believe in the description and some of the posts, I've been putting a little link. And if you just want to click on that link, that will capture your name in my, hold on one second there, in my streaming service. And then that makes it easier so I can see your name when we're talking in the chat. So anyways, this week is in our Midlife Mojo group. You know that every week I have kind of a theme of the week, a loose theme of the week. And this week was staying active as the seasons change, right? So here in Florida, the seasons don't change much. I mean, maybe around December, January, you can't go in the pool. That might be the only difference. But I do know for the rest of the world, you do have to start thinking about different types of exercise and how you're going to do it and fit it in and so forth. So I am really excited to bring on my first guest here on Midlife Mojo Mondays. Her name is Kathy Hicks, and she's a personal trainer. So let me first bring her on. Hold on, and then I'll tell you all about her. All right. There she is. Yay. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very, very good. Welcome, welcome. I really appreciate you coming on with us. So I just wanted to read a little bit about Kathy before we get started and chatting a little bit. But Kathy Hicks is a California transplant from Texas and is a lifelong entrepreneur, writer who recently pivoted from civil engineering to build an online fitness and health business. After working 15 years as an engineer, she decided to not only change her physical fitness level, but focus on helping others do the same. Kathy became a personal trainer, corrective exercise specialist in 2016, and she currently inspires clients to incorporate habits which alleviate joint and muscular pain, increase energy, and attain their ideal weight. Kathy's mantra, and I love this, no pain, more gain, is truly exemplified through her coaching technique and expertise. Her 6-week course, Fit Life Blueprint, has helped many women create their dream body. So Kathy, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I wanted to say out in California, we don't have seasons either. So I'm
This is true. This is true. Not quite at least the way here is, but definitely. I agree. I agree.
Not quite as warm, but it's, yeah.
Definitely. Well, I wanted to, I met Kathy recently and we just clicked. Like, sometimes you just meet somebody and you click, and I think we just both felt that. And, for me, for those of you who don't know, because I know I have a lot of new people, my background, one of the things I am is a certified Pilates instructor since 2008. And for those of you who have ever worked out with me before in my studio or when I did it online or anything, you know how protective I am of my people, right? Like, I just don't let anybody touch them or anybody teach them, especially when it comes to exercise and especially when it comes to midlife women, because we've got some stuff, and you don't want some 20-something-year-old hard body coming in here and telling you, give me 3 more, when that's just not right for us, or telling us to give crunches, and that's probably not right for us, so to have met somebody who I felt had my same philosophy of exercise that I could bring to you made me so excited. So Kathy, I want you to just talk a little bit about that now, kind of get into. So you mentioned, I thought this was interesting, you came from civil engineering, so you're definitely an in your head person, to a body, right, to something that you're very physical and personal training. So just kind of tell me how that journey just kind of happened a little bit.
Well, a lot of it kind of was organic, as I was going to I was trying to pick what I was going to do to be in college. I wanted to be a musician. My dad didn't think that was a great idea, musicians don't make a lot of money. You're starving musicians, So I kind of wanted to impress him. And so I went for engineering. I liked math and science. It was somewhat by default. And but I ended up graduating. I started working in the field. I knew I'd made a huge mistake. It wasn't my favorite, but I persevered. I got registered, and I finally, as time progressed, and my father actually ended up passing away about 9 years ago. And as I was walking up to his casket to say goodbye, I knew that I could have made a difference. Wasn't eating right, he wasn't moving. And so that's when I really decided to get involved with personal training. And I've always been active as by myself, working out, eating right. But as over the years, I have 5 kids now. I had a set of twins, and the twins were huge. And I ended up having some back issues and some hip issues. And so I started just studying anatomy, and I wanted to fix myself. I'm kind of one of those people that, I can do it myself. So I studied and I kind of figured out some things, and I decided to get my personal trainer certificate. And I can safely say at this point, I am pain free. I'm living pain free. So I am like so excited to be able to say that. It's been the last couple of years. I remember waking up that first day going, my back doesn't hurt. I did, something happened.
Yeah.
So, as we age, it's just a part of life. We've had those falls, or what, I twisted my ankle, and all this stuff just comes up, and we have to keep moving. Like you said, Jill, you have to keep moving as we age to keep those joints healthy and keep those muscles toned. And your core needs to support everything, and so that's why I love Pilates too, and you were
Yeah.
a Pilates instructor. It's so critical for that core to be strong and intact. So
Yeah. And I really love your story, because I bet you it's home for a lot of, the ladies on my page, because how many of us, right? We just went into something because we're pleasers, right? Like, we want to please at that time it was our parents or whoever, our teachers or whatever it may be. Or there were maybe, for some of you who are even a little bit older, I know I have some women in here in the 70s I talked to a lot, that they didn't really even have too many choices. It was, you were a teacher, you were a nurse, I mean, they didn't. So, so many women don't do what you did, Kathy, and that was pivot into something that was a true passion for you, that you knew could make a difference. So that just in itself is really inspiring to me, because, and I hope to to you ladies too, that just to know that we're never stuck, right? We are never stuck with where we're at. We can always change our course, our path. And maybe for you, it was, I'm sorry, the passing of your father, but, it doesn't need to be something to that extreme for us to make a change, right now. And I think right now is a great time for you to have made this change too, because now we're going to get into it a little bit, talking about some of the training that you do, but I know you do your training online, and what a great thing to be able to offer people right now. So tell us a little bit about the training that you do.
yeah, well, I like everybody, in March, I'm still actually finishing up my engineering work. I'm still working as an engineer part-time. And in March, like everybody else, life shut down, right? They sent me home in my engineering job. I set up in the living room to start. I didn't have my little studio here. And then the gyms closed down. I'm in California. The gyms are still closed. And I remember sitting there just thinking, there's 3 responses that you have: that fight, the flight, or the freeze, right? I did the freeze. I froze. And my exercise, everything stopped, and it took about a month. And I just remember I developed a very unhealthy relationship with Kit Kats. And that's not the best, but I don't know. That was a part of that freeze I just didn't know what was next. So I decided, I got up that next morning and I said, I'm going to start teaching Zoom classes online. I'll invite my friends, I'll invite whoever, and so I did that, and I kept doing that. And then I got involved with a networking group, and then I developed a 6-week course that I've been promoting and having quite a bit of success with, and that in kind of a full encompassing program that really gets those habits going. Daily habits. So I work with my women 30 minutes a day, every day. So you've got a habit right? 6 days a week. It's available. I teach 9 classes a week, which sounds like a lot, but a lot of it is like meditation, relaxation. And then we're going to talk about this Yamuna, the body rolling, releasing the stress, because life is stressful right now. we're,
Definitely.
we're, we're in a different world, and it seems like it's going to go back to normal. And I finally woke up the other day and I just said, this is it. This is my life. I need to embrace it. And so that helps with kind of that stress level of, when is it going to look normal? Well, this is it. And
Yeah.
so I've just had to shift. And
I
it's been fun. It's been hard, but it's been fun. So
Yeah, I think change is hard. I mean, right? When and but that's always the benefits on the other end if you're willing to kind of get through. And I think that you're starting to see that as well. So, what types of like specifically? So, we're going to talk about the Yamuna balls a little later. What other kind of exercises, like in your classes, do you offer?
well, the average age of a person in my class is about a 60-year-old woman, and I gear all of my classes. I know all of my clients, and I know what most everybody has, either a shoulder, hip, or knee issue. And so every class I teach is very meticulously, I'm giving verbal cues the whole time, bend your knees, watch your shoulders. So I teach Yamuna Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we do stretching before we do lifting, because you cannot strengthen a muscle unless it's stretched out, it's long. So I use the body has logic. So I use logic in my design. So we stretch with the Yamuna. We do muscles and cardio. So we are isolating the muscles, strengthening the muscles, and then we integrate the movement. And careful, it's all low impact. You will be sweating though. It's high intensity, low impact. There's a way to do that, and I'm not jumping around anymore. I don't want to. And then
I want to. I love that because so that's one of those reasons why I brought Kathy to you, because she's right. Right? We got. I mean, if you have your joints are good enough to be doing those jumping jacks and all that, and those, fantastic. More power to you. But most of us not. So, but to be able to get that high intensity, that getting that's a hard sometimes to get your heart rate up. With low impact, unless you have somebody kind of motivating you along. So yeah, that's really cool.
it's fun. It ends up being really fun, and you go, wow, that was. And I don't believe you need to work out for an hour and a half. I think 30 minutes is plenty. We warm up, we work out, and then we cool down and we stretch every single time. I know a lot of classes when I was at the gym, these young 20, like you said, these young 20 beach body girls,
Yeah.
they don't cool down. And I do, and I stretch. And my ladies are not getting hurt. These 75, 78-year-old women are getting more range of motion. They're getting more movement in their hips. So anyway, that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And on Tuesday and Thursdays, we sandwich in Pilates.
Awesome.
So,
See, so ladies who have been wanting to do Pilates and you've been saying, who can I go to? Now I got somebody to tell you to go to.
yeah.
So that's exciting. So let me see what I want to ask you. Oh, yes. So specifically for the midlife woman. So like, are there like maybe some types of either do's or don'ts that you might just want to, let people know if they are working out on their own, some types of exercises that would be best benefiting them and the ones that maybe they think is best for them and really not?
Well, like you were saying, I mean, jumping around is not the best for your ankles and your knees and your hips. The compression, we've been compressing all these years, unless you are really stretching out. You're either doing some form of, the body rolling or doing the Pilates, really stretching out, decompressing. We use that with the body rolling is decompressing the joints. We actually create space in the joints. So I would not be jumping. I'm not jumping. I don't run. I do low impact everything. Some people have got shoulder issues. So lifting over your head like this, with weights, heavy weights, you can do some damage in your shoulders. Shoulders are just very, how do you say, they're very complicated, right? There's a lot of muscles. There's a lot of movement. Now this joint can move in almost any direction. So it's just a complicated joint. And I am very careful with shoulders. I've had a frozen shoulder and I refused to get surgery. I had the chiropractor manipulate it and get it unfrozen, and it was painful, but I protected very, carefully. So being careful with those overhead. Now, my shoulder got frozen because I was doing repetitive motion. I was painting a ceiling. So I think we need to be careful with everyday work. I painted the ceiling for I don't know how many hours, and I went out and mowed the lawn. I'm obviously a doer, and woke up the next day and I couldn't lift my arm. So I think with everyday activity, we just need to be careful with our bodies as we age. And I'm 56. So yeah. And then do's would be stretching, right? If I
Definitely.
hear of somebody with low back pain, I'm like, tell me about your stretch life. And
I hear
they say,
that.
I don't have one.
And it's such a simple thing. People don't, stretching is really, my husband used to, like, literally, he used to say, especially when I had my studio, that all I did was stretch and gab all day long. And he wasn't so wrong. But, but like two things that you said that I'm just going to say for myself. So one, I had a stretching, the other day, I just started bicycling. A new thing because I had to give up running, and I've been doing it, and I always stretch before and stretch after. Well, I got my husband out there with me, and he was being a little cranky and let's go, and he's not he's not in shape at all. Okay, and so I forewent, I don't know what the word is, but I did not do my stretching before. And I literally, the next day, I had hurt my inner thigh so bad, couldn't move, so it's something, and I knew that was it. And I was so mad at myself, right? Something so simple, the 5 minutes I could have taken and done it at any time. And then those simple little things. So this morning, again, I got up to do my bike ride. I was feeling great, went into the thing just to water my plants and pull a few weeds. And when I bent down and came back up, I did something. And I'm not bike riding today, let's just say. Like, my back is all wonky a little bit. So it's really, it's really important to do the right things in the right order and the right exercise with the right people, for sure. So yeah, thank you for that.
You bring up a really good point too, is just listening to your body.
Yeah.
If you feel knee pain, stop.
Yes.
That is not, shoulder pain, any joint pain, hip pain it's not muscular. You just stop and, try to figure it out before that is not a place you push through the pain.
Right. And unfortunately, a lot of people do, right? And I think, you and I, we work with women over 50. So a lot of these women are maybe new to exercise or haven't done it in a while. I know that's kind of that level that you work with. And so, you really have got to go slow, right? You just can't just go through. And when you say listen to your body, it's so important. And so having somebody's eyes on you, at least in the beginning, until you kind of figure out your body, is good. So right. Awesome. So I am excited. So I want you to talk about Yamuna a little bit. I learned about it, I don't know, it's maybe 7-8 years ago. I was at a Pilates convention and they had the balls, and there was a course on it. I don't even remember if I even took the course. I might not have taken that one. I just remember the word and hearing, but I really know very, very little about it. But I do know that it's useful. So I'm going to go off screen and let you take over and just talk about it. And you're also going to do a demo for us too, right?
I will, yeah.
Totally.
Awesome. Matt right behind me. I'll just give you a little background and some benefits of Yamuna.
Cool.
It's a little bit of the philosophy. Yamuna is really not new. It's been around for about 40 years, and Yamuna developed this. She's from New York. She was a yoga instructor, a master teacher, and she studied the body and anatomy and felt like she had developed balls, and I'm sure you guys have probably used tennis balls to relieve your back, right? Well, I had been doing that for years, trying to get my hip released, get my back released. Well, Yamuna's been doing it for 40 years, and she developed these rubber latex-free balls. So if you're allergic to latex, that's good. And they're soft. You can see how soft they are. And this is just one of the sizes. There's 3 or 4 sizes of the ball, different sizes. You can see the pearl one there and then the gold one. And anyway, so she developed this work. She found that if people were not with her during the week, she'd work with them at the yoga or stretching. She was also a massage therapist. And then they had the ball, they would get better results of releasing that muscle tension in your muscles. So so she developed, it was called Body Logic. And the body responds logically to certain stretch patterns, as Jill was saying. And if what she found was that if you start at the origination point of the muscle, where the muscle attaches to the core, the body, and you roll along the muscle where it attaches to the bone, the appendage or the arm or whatever, that you would gain length in the muscle, you would release the tension in the muscle, and then you would have a more loose muscle, right? So that was the logic. And the other part of that was that everything starts at the core. So we work from the core down our legs, and we work from the core up our body. We work at the core from the center out, and on all of it. There's a logical sequence that really releases the body very well. Now, there's 4 main benefits that I just want to mention, and then I'm going to show you a little bit about it. I'll demo it for you on the floor there. But the biggest benefit of all is, as I mentioned, lengthening the muscle. You cannot build a muscle unless it's lengthened and loose, right? A tight muscle is a shortened muscle. So you can't build strength. And we want to build strength so the muscle can support the bones as we age, right? If the core can't support you, then your back's going to be, you're going to break your bones. You're not going to be able to support your body very well. So that's the first benefit. Second one is we create space in the joints. So we use the balls to create space. I do a little shoulder stretch, opening up the joints. We use traction to do that. We might be on the floor stretching our arm out, and I'll show you that in a minute, to create some space in the joint. If there is space in the joint, you can, the joint will heal. If there's something going on in there, if it's, you've got an issue in the joint. So space in the joint will allow it to heal. So that's the second benefit. Another one is just releasing those stress, like you get that little knots in your back. Well, I used to use a tennis ball. Now I use a Yamuna ball to release a lot of those knots in my back, to release the tension. I carry tension in my neck and my back just because I work at a computer still as an engineer a little bit and working online with my people. And then the last one is you can, I don't know if I'm sure everybody's got foam rollers. They've used foam rollers. Foam rollers are really hard. And as you put your body on it, your body will tighten up just to protect itself. So with the Yamuna ball, it's soft, and you can work directly on your bone, which helps with bone density. And I know that as we age, that is just a huge concern, is osteoporosis, osteopenia, the different things with your bone, getting porous bones. So the recommendation from the doctors is to do weight-bearing exercise to help strengthen your bones. And with Yamuna, you are always weight-bearing when you're sitting on the ball. You're always balancing, so you're always using your core. So that's the wonderful thing. Now, Yamuna is my favorite modality, and I'm going to give you a quick little demo and just show you here on the floor. So the gold ball is what I use a lot of times when you're starting out, beginner ball. And we typically start, so the core is right in here, right? We start on the sit bone, which is the bones you sit on. There's 2 of them, sits bones, S-I-T-Z. And I start on the right one. You would never sit on the tailbone.
Hey, Kathy.
Yeah.
Kathy, can you hear me? Can you just move your chair just a little bit more?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Better, thank you. Perfect.
No worries. yeah, so on this one, you would never sit on the tailbone. And just to give you a little background, why would you want to sit on the sits bone? Well, because the hamstrings come in and they originate at the sits bone. So they start here and they go down and then they attach at the leg bone. So it's really important. If you have a tight hamstring, it could be pulling your hips down, so you have lower back pain. It could also be tight pulling your knee, and you might have knee pain. So it's just a real important place to start. So we start on the sit bone to begin to release the hamstrings. And so if I were doing a hamstring release, which I recommend, this is like the first place we start many times. Little circles in one direction, opposite direction. Takes a little bit to get used to the balance. So I recommend people be, using your hands. You can use yoga blocks. You could be next to your couch. We're going to pull. I'm pulling my body back, rolling into that hamstring, back to the pelvis. This is a great, I call this my bathing suit because this lifts your glutes. You know how you get saggy a little bit as we age? This lifts that up. It gets it off those hamstrings. It's those glutes lifted.
I'm in.
Yeah, it changed my derriere. I did a little experiment for 6 months. I'm going side to side now. And it literally, I looked in the mirror one day and I went, wow, that is so cool. So anyway, we've got to start saying that about ourselves. Wow, I look so good. I'm looking better, I'm all about, we just have to start speaking positive to our bodies, our body image. Okay, so we're back at that sit bone. We went all around the world. So a couple of things I was doing, waking up the glutes. The glutes are the most underutilized, the biggest muscle in the body. And many times it's the most underactive, right? It's not active. And when your glutes aren't active, something else is going to pick up the muscle, right? Either your lower back or your hamstrings. And or your groin, right? And you mentioned a little inner thigh, right? Which is where the groin, we call it the groin. We want all of the muscles firing. If they're not firing, the body will not stop moving. It will pick another muscle and it will just keep moving. And that's when we get hurt. So here we are. We're at that sit bone. We're sitting on the ball. And then I pull my body back. And I'm still balancing. I'm using whatever I need to balance, keeping a nice flat back and strong shoulders. I really feel that in the hamstring. And if you have a foam roller, you can put it right at the fold in the back of your leg and you will feel a stretch. Now, the nice thing about it is this is soft. It's not as hard as that foam roller, and it allows your body to release that tension faster, because when you put something really hard on there, your body will tighten up to protect. So yeah, we're at the top of where the hamstring comes in. There's tendons there. We do a little cross fiber. We're going to cross all the way to the IT band out here. For those that probably have heard those terms before, there's like a rubber band on the side of your leg that allows your knee to move, and we can keep that flexible by stretching all the way out to there. And then we just work our way down the leg. So moving back slowly, eventually we get to the floor and we work that ball behind the knee, get a nice knee stretch. When you flex your foot, you're going to feel that stretch all the way through the leg, behind the knee. Work it I'm giving you the fast version, to the calf muscle. The calves are there's 3 different muscles, or 3 or 4. There's all kinds of muscles in there, but separating those muscles, we do this cross fiber to separate the muscles so they work better. A lot of times the muscles will get clumped together because of the fascia that covers them. So separating out those muscles. And then we get down to the ankle and that Achilles tendon, stretching that, adding a little more pressure with the other leg, cross fibering. It's called cross fiber because the fiber runs up and down. We're going across it, relieving the little stress pockets in there. And that was basically, I gave you the quickest little hamstring stretch all the way down. And then when you stretch your leg out, let's say you just did your right leg, you see a difference in the length of your leg, just in that little, I can see a teeny little difference just from what we did. We did a little 5-minute stretch from the hips down, relieving, decompressing the joints as we go, and lengthening the muscle, which is what we want to do. And then after this, I would do my cardio and lift you my free weights, my squats, my jump, they're not jumping jacks, my low impact jacks. But that is, in a nutshell, that's how I use the ball in the workout. And it's just, we use a lot of breath work as we go too. Slows us down. It's meditative and just helps with just relieving that tension, and stress. And I feel $1 million after doing our little workouts. So.
Well, I think it's also because you're getting the fluid to move better, right? So we're like literally lubricating our joints, right? And so it's watching you do it. I was like, oh man, I love that. Oh God, I can feel it. I can feel sitting in there. I'm getting a ball. I'm watching it. Just real quick, so you have the different size balls. So I'm going to assume that different body parts require different size balls. Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have the gold ball. Really, we do a lot. We actually get into the abdomen too. We stretch the psoas, which is really tough.
That's what I'm. Yes, I've been doing that right now with myself, trying to figure out ways to get in there. That's what I was thinking with that.
The ball is just amazing. So we use, now there is a silver ball, which Yamuna is now in her 70s. And the silver ball is more dense, so I'm not even recommending it now because of my age and who I'm working with. So the gold ball, the pearl, and the black, they all are the same density and used pretty much anywhere. The black ball we don't use in the abdomen because it's very intense. It's called a calf ball. We use that for the calf. I use it in my neck. You can imagine you can get, resting your neck on that for a little bit. And this muscle, this really thick muscle attaches behind your ear. There's a bump behind your ear. So you rest your head on that for a while, it'll start releasing that muscle. And then you kind of slowly.
I love that because I'll do that to I have a lot of massage therapy friends. So they told me, how to kind of like do it with my fingers. And I'm like, you sold me. I'm telling you, I'm in. So I have a question for you. I'm going to put this up here. Let me put your email up here. So you mentioned that you've got all those classes, and I know you're Pacific Standard Time for those who were saying, for those who just know. So yeah, just for my East Coast people. But so if somebody want to get started with you, they can email you at this email, and you can kind of let them know your schedule and what now would they have to purchase? I'm assuming they have to purchase those balls. Is that how it would work?
You can order the balls. I just ordered some. I do sell them to people all over the country. It's probably fastest you can go on the Yamuna website and order it. I think you can get on Amazon. I'm not sure. It's not an official, thing. Or you can get them from me. So you can order a ball. You can get it in about 3 or 4 days, and I will ship it right to you.
But you need them for your class, except for your Pilates. Do you need them for your?
Yes, you don't. For the Pilates and the cardio workout, I use free weights and a mat. And the Pilates is just mat. So I mean, you can get started now. You guys can, I think it's so important to just get moving, whatever you're doing, and then order the ball, wait for the ball. But, I think it'll be fun for you to get that ball.
Yeah. Well, you and I talked before about you have some kind of 5-day challenge or something that maybe you can tell them, this is for you guys. So listen up. Yeah.
Yes, well, you're all invited. Come and work out with me for 5 days. And actually, I'll extend it for 2 weeks because you got to get that ball.
Okay.
So if you want to work out with me for 2 weeks and just try out every day or whatever days work for you, shoot me an email. I'll send you the schedule and the link and a little waiver. I need your little training waiver, make sure you don't get hurt or anything. But it's really fun. We got a great group of women. They're all our age. Everybody is cheering each other on, and I love the community. That's so fun.
Well, it's so much more, I think, motivating to do it with other people. And, it's just when you realize everybody's just kind of where you are. Sometimes you feel like, oh, everybody's better than me or that person can do. And I can tell by the way, just the things that you were saying and doing, that you are very gentle with your people. And that when I say gentle, you make them work, but that you're gentle, because I had a couple of people say over the years they didn't like other trainers because they just didn't make them feel like they were doing enough or doing it well enough, and that's just not what we need, right? I mean, we need to be built up and so forth. And like you said, telling ourselves that we look good and our bodies can move, and being in an environment, a community like yours, Kathy, I think would be really beneficial to you ladies who are looking for just a place to start exercise, where I think that you can feel a safe environment where, would you, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've worked with women with osteoporosis, and they've had broken wrists, broken shoulders. I'm like, okay, what can we do? But you know what? When you're moving this gently, and you know what, the ball is not for everybody either. I recognize that. I think she was 78, and she just couldn't balance on that ball, and I said, okay, there's another option. You can do it off the wall if you want, or let's not do that. Let's just do stretching. There's plenty of opportunities to move, but I certainly love it. I think you can incorporate it, even like sitting in your chair. You can sit on those little black balls and stretch your hamstrings, through the day. So you just move the black balls down your legs. So I think there's so many opportunities to decompress and stretch these muscles, which is
well, I like to talk about, because people, when they think of exercise, oh, I've got to take this big block of time and so forth. But even something as those balls, I mean, you can be sitting at work and like working your muscles, right? And like, that's no time at all. So I
take them on the airplane.
There you go. I love that.
Not really traveling right now,
I know, but when you were, right? But when you were.
I was traveling, going to Australia, I had those balls under there. That's a 14-hour flight.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. I have learned personally so much. You have sold me on Yamuna. Like I'm looking, it's similar to something I used to do, and I wasn't really sure. I'm like, oh God, yeah. And I definitely look forward to working out with you a little bit as well, and just and maybe I'll see some of my ladies there with our workouts as well. That would be exciting. So, Kathy, I'm going to take you off screen and just wrap things up. But I am just grateful for you coming on and sharing with everybody today. And I do hope that you ladies take advantage of her. I mean, 2 weeks of working out for free, 6 days a week. I mean, that's amazing. So for you to offer that to my audience, I really appreciate that so much. So thank you. And I'm going to just take you off. Ladies, you hang with me just an extra minute here. All right. I'm going to leave Kathy's email up there. So that's all you got to do is just email her, and she'll give you all the details and so forth. But I hope this was really informative for you guys. My mission with Midlife Mojo, I always say that, oh, that's my water bottle. I always say that, my mission is really to be a support, education, and resource center. And my goal, moving forward is to bring more resources to you. Sure, do I teach Pilates? Do I have all of that, knowledge? Absolutely. But to be able to bring somebody else's perspective in, bring somebody else's experience in and share, I think that, you guys can really benefit. And so my intention is to continue to do this. In 2 weeks, so every Monday, I'm still here. Don't forget, every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, I am here for Midlife Mojo Mondays. We do have another special guest in a couple of weeks coming on as well. And like I said, every couple of weeks, just throw in somebody else in there just to kind of add something to your mojo that we can all benefit from. And just as a reminder, on Fridays, I go live on Zoom at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that's pretty casual. You won't see this pretty background. I always say I'm usually out on my back porch. You're lucky if I'm showered. I might have a hat on, but that's very casual, and that's just to get on with me and ask any questions you've got about intermittent fasting. Or, you know, the lady who got on with me this week, it was just her and I, so we talked about some other issues she had, nothing to do with intermittent fasting, but having to do with her hormones. So just know that that time is for you ladies to come on. And I think that is it. So I'm going to send you off with a little video here. Let me get that.